Ready, Eddie?
Yep.
Charlie Parsons here in New York, delighted to be joined as usual with Mr. Eddie Hearn. Eddie, first things first, how are we, mate?
Parsons, what are you wearing?
A little bit of the pink stony.
Pink stony.
Necessity.
Is it? The pink stony is a necessity.
Just to show I'm not too hardcore, but if anyone wants it, they're still ready.
Right, okay, so you're in touch with your feminine side, yet still violent.
Not feeling the colour. Are you a bit insecure, Eddie? Could you not pull off this colour?
No, listen, I would wear it because I'm incredibly handsome and I'm,
And so am I. Obviously, got the skin fade going on, looking beautiful.
Different kind of market. Obviously, 42, probably on the way out. You're an up-and-coming young pup.
And that's what they see in it.
Okay. Good luck in New York this week and Las Vegas next week.
Thank you, mate. Right, let's jump into it. Taylor Serrano, you're doing it with Jake Paul, who we've already seen yesterday up the Empire State Building. Just first things first, your thoughts, sell the fight.
It's just absolutely massive. I mean, I've not seen interest in a fight, media accreditation, media exposure, people so invested in an event that I'm seeing in this event, and I think it's incredible. And like yesterday, you arrived at Empire State Building. I didn't know they were going to light up Empire State Building on Saturday night in the Irish and Puerto Rican colours, and it just shows you how big this fight is. And it's an incredible fight. I've said before, and it's the Mayweather-Pacquiao of women's boxing, but it's at the right time, and you're going to get a much better fight.
I've seen, obviously, like you say, that they're lighting up the Empire State Building in Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano national colours. I think BBC, people were saying on Twitter that they're getting pinged with notifications for it. Is that it for you? Obviously, a massive fight, but you want to push this out as much as possible, keep the promotion, keep plugging it.
There's a really good feeling about this, to say people want this to be a success, and you can't say that very often about boxing events, promotion. The game always wants it to fail, but people outside, this is bigger than boxing. Yeah, so I'm talking about media outlets, I'm talking about celebrities, I'm talking about sportsmen. They want this event to work and they want it to be a success. And we're not selling out Madison Square Garden because everyone's going, I think we should buy a ticket because they're two women and it's nice. They're buying tickets to see a brilliant fight, and that's how you create longevity in a product. I don't want to be involved with something because a broadcaster says, let's do women's boxing because we should do that, because and Katie Taylor would hate that. She taught me that. She taught me that's actually not equality. Equality is not a broadcaster going, let's just do it some women's boxing because that's what we should do. But they're doing it because they're saying it's great. It's a great fight, and you'll see it on Saturday night.
Well, obviously the card itself, we got Liam Smith and Vargas on the undercard. I think that was a couple months back for February. We were expecting it to be another main event, but you put it as the co-main event and then just the rest of the card.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, the undercard for this fight is incredible. Liam Smith against Jessie Vargas, such a brilliant fight. A fight that could headline in the US, fight that could headline in the UK. You got Cruz Dezern against Cederos, the undisputed super middleweight championship. You got Galal Yafai in his second fight, defending his WBC international title. You got a brilliant fight with Ammo Williams. Great fight. You got Sky Nicholson in there in her third fight. You've got Reshat Mati as well on the undercard. You've got Khalil Coe. It's such a great night of boxing, and you really need to get into Jessie Vargas and Liam Smith because this is really bubbling nice. We're going to get some beef here, and you're also going to get a great fight.
Well, you've got Canelo next week. Obviously, speak about that. I actually want to touch on the comments made by Kamaru Usman's manager on Twitter, saying that he's only fighting people with 5,000 followers on Twitter. I mean, since when did followers on Twitter really matter about opponents in boxing?
Anyone that criticises the resume of Canelo Alvarez has absolutely no fucking clue about anything. So, but look, we'd love to make the Usman fight with Canelo Alvarez. Of course, who wouldn't? But I don't really see that that's really a fight that is appealing to Canelo Alvarez other than for anything else other than money. You've seen Dana Whyte basically come out and say the Usman-Canelo fight is ridiculous. I mean, what's he going to do? Beat him in a boxing match? There's no one in boxing that can beat Canelo Alvarez, let alone in mixed martial arts. But, we'll see. I think all talk is good.
Canelo, how is he feeling? I saw him last night guzzling some water or a drink of his in the sauna. How has training camp gone? How has Dimitri Bivol's training camp gone?
Bivol is a beast in this fight. I'm telling you now, this is going to be such an incredible fight because Bivol, is absolutely primed and ready for this opportunity. It's the opportunity of his career. He's in in great shape, but also, you know, Canelo Alvarez looks like an absolute beast, to be honest with you. And I think you're going to get a thrilling fight in Vegas. You're going to get the light heavyweight world champion, may even be the best light heavyweight in the world, in the absolute prime against the pound for pound number one of the sport. So, you know, big event to take care of this week, but also at the same time, Canelo Alvarez, the king of boxing, ready to go in Vegas next Saturday. Obviously,
we saw Tyson Fury with a 6th round knockout of Dillian Whyte. Just your reaction to Dillian Whyte's comment saying that it was actually the push where he landed on his head. I've got to say, first hand, I've seen it back, I've seen it in slow motion. He doesn't land on his head, he lands on his elbow.
When he went down. Yeah. For me, it was a strange punch. It wasn't like clean on the chin, but he was, you know, it was the punch that done it. It was a foul, by the way. He shouldn't have pushed him, so I get the point, but for me, I don't think it would have made a major difference to the outcome of the fight. But you know, like, Tyson did all the things I expected him to do, and it was a great knockout, so congrats to him.
Tyson Fury FaceTimed you the next day. What was he saying?
Several times. I don't know, really. I couldn't really hear a lot because he was obviously enjoying himself. I think he wanted AJ's number. He's got AJ's number. I just think he was pesting people in general, you know. So, you know, he's a character. And me and Tyson actually go back and forth quite a lot. We actually, well, from my side, we actually get on all right. I respect him. Because he's proved me wrong so many times, by the way. And I respect the journey he's been on, and I respect him as a great heavyweight. So I just believe AJ can beat him, but that's irrelevant because he's got to fight Usyk. That'll be your next question. Probably the week after Canelo Alvarez, we expect to announce that fight date, and it'll be in July.
Okay, Paris Fury said after the fight that Tyson Fury just says a lot because he's bored, I suppose. Obviously, you know, he did his little thing in the ring with Ngannou. He spoke about, you know, Drew McIntyre in WWE. I suppose the winner of Usyk, Joshua. Do you expect him to fight as a professional boxer again?
Yes, I do, because I think his best fights are ahead of him. You know, so why wouldn't you want to go down as people talk about Fury as a generational great? I'm only going to get stick for saying he's a brilliant fighter, probably number one heavyweight in the world right now, but his resume doesn't even stack up, in my opinion, to AJ's resume, let alone to a resume of Lennox Lewis or a great heavyweight of the past. If he beat AJ, if he beat Usyk, if he become undisputed, you put him up there with Lennox Lewis and those kind of people. But I would love to see him go and have these massive fights in division because I think he's in his prime. So we'll see.
There's no clash with Oscar Valdez, Shakur Stevenson, but I imagine, sort of, have you spoke to Bob? Was this something that you pre-planned? I know that New York you're going to have a later main event.
Parsons, I told everybody, ESPN, Top Rank, whatever you do, do not go on this date because your fight will be nowhere near as big as Taylor Serrano. They laughed at me again, Parsons. What's wrong with all these people laughing at me? We stand here today with the Empire State Building about to be lit up in the Irish and Puerto Rican colours, with a sold-out Madison Square Garden, with the entire world media here, WWE tweeting non-stop with interviews about this fight, the morning show yesterday, both girls on it. This is on another level, this fight. When are they going to start believing me, Parsons?
And then just finally on the UK schedule, we haven't got too much announced after Bitesy Richards. Anything that you can tell us? Or
we'll be announcing June 4th this week. We'll be in Cardiff, and that'll be dropping shortly.
Eddie, as always, thank you very much for your time. Cheers, mate.